So we're ready to do our first page of coursework. Okay, so just a reminder, this is an actual mark that you are getting right now. Okay, so it's really important that you work hard and you do this as well as you can. Okay, right, on the 1st of June, the exam boards released the theme to us. So this year's theme is nature and the environment. Okay, so the first thing you need to do is you just need to think about what those words mean to you. So when you think about the word nature, what comes to mind? When you think of the word environment, what comes to mind? Okay, just spend 5 minutes just literally writing a load of words down that come to mind when you think of nature and the environment. Okay, pause the video now and do that. Right, these are the things that came to my mind when I thought about nature and the environment. When I thought about nature, I thought about wildlife, birds, fish, hedgehogs, badgers, that sort of thing. Bees, butterflies, bugs. That's what I think about when I think about the word nature. But you've maybe got things in there like trees, waterfalls, that's all nature as well, rocks, okay? Then I started to think about the word environment and I thought about saving water, single-use plastics, CO2 levels, how could we encourage people to walk or bike or use public transport more? O2 levels, how could we get people to plant more trees? So that's what I thought about when I thought about the word environment, but you probably thought about maybe recycling, maybe reducing the amount of energy used in the home, stuff like that. But you probably got loads of stuff, but just have some ideas of what you think about when you think about the word nature and the environment. Next thing I'd tell you to do is go on Google Images and just type things in that come to mind when you think about nature and the environment. So literally type in the word nature, type in the word the environment, okay, and just blitz and see what comes up on Google Images. So I did that. I wrote in nature, the environment. I then started to think about the other side of it. So I wrote about water pollution, air pollution, harming wildlife. And these are the sorts of images that came up. Now, you don't actually have to make a mood board like I've done there, but you could. But at least go on Google Images 5-10 minutes and just write in all those words, okay? I'm going to show you a new addition to the family. This is Amber, and she's a pain, so that's why I look a little bit distracted on occasion. Right, so we've done that, so we thought about the theme now, but every student in your year group will have the theme nature and the environment. So when you are making your project your own, it's about thinking about how you're going to approach this, what your problem is going to be. So from the theme, you now have to think about a problem. So that's something that needs solving or something that could be better. You need to be a little bit more specific than just saying nature and the environment, but don't be too specific. So let's say, for example, that you'd started to think about hedgehogs and how, I don't know, their homes are being destroyed because we're using more concrete and building more things. Don't literally say, right, hedgehogs' homes are being destroyed and therefore I'm going to make a hedgehog house. That's too specific, because when you come to drawing ideas, they want you to have a variety of ideas, and you can't draw 5 hedgehog homes that are basically all the same thing. So keep it broad. So let's say you were thinking about wildlife homes and stuff like that. Your problem might just say, due to urbanisation, lots of natural wildlife are losing their homes. That's it. You're not saying that it's a hedgehog, you're not saying you're going to make a home, you're just going, that's just the problem. So think about a problem within this theme. So it could be anything, like we said on the last slide. It could be to do with increasing recycling, it could be to do with getting more people on their bikes, it could be using more public transport, recycling more, whatever you think it is, just write down the problem. So it could be something like, although people are recycling more, there's still a lot of recyclable waste that goes in the bin. That's it. That's your problem. Okay? So think about a problem. Okay? And that's the first bit that's going to go on your page. And this page is worth, well, this section is worth 10 marks out of 100. So that's 10%. Okay? And this section is going to be 3 pages in total. But we're just going to do the first page today, which is to do with this. Okay, you don't need to understand all that. I'm going to explain what you're going to do. Okay, but that's how you're going to get 9 or 10 marks. So this is what your page is going to look like. So this is an example of a student's page in the past. So the first thing you do is you write your theme at the top of the page. So their theme for their year group was encouraging a healthy lifestyle. But you would write at the top of your page, nature and the environment. And then, top left-hand corner, you write down your problem. So you write down the thing that you found wrong within this theme. So this person decided that their problem was, many teenagers seem to struggle with bad posture. This is evident with how students sit at school. Okay? So hers is all to do with students and bad posture. Okay? And then, what you're going to do, underneath where you've written the problem, you are going to mind map or brainstorm everything to do with that problem. So you start off by writing roughly what the problem is. So she's written bad posture here, look. And then from that word, you get loads of branches coming out and about everything to do with this problem. Okay? So she's thought about who's going to use the item. How much might it cost? Okay, where might the device that helps bad posture be used? Okay, so what I want you to do is sum up your problem in a bubble or something and then do loads of branches out thinking about everything to do with that problem. Now if you're really stuck and you don't know what you should write about on this mind map, I always tell people to use the phrase muck farts. Okay, that gives you a really good start. So muck farts, M stands for materials. So do a branch out and then write the word materials and then tell me all the materials that this product might be used for. Now if you're saying about something like wildlife homes, for example, you might not know exactly what it's going to be made from, but you might be able to write out from the word material, you might be able to write that it needs to be waterproof and it needs to be strong and stuff like that. Okay? Then C for muck farts, the C is cost. So how much do you think it should cost? And then F is function. So that's what it's doing, how it should work. Okay? A is aesthetics. So what should it look like? So if it's something that's going to be used in the home, we normally want colours that blend in with our home, like white, grey, black. If it's going to live outside, it probably needs to blend in wherever it's going to live. So if it is a hedgehog home, it probably needs to be green and brown to blend in with the environment. So think about aesthetics. R is reliability. So that is how long this thing should last. So in this case, for bad posture, she was talking about bad posture at school. So her device needed to last for 2 or 3 years because that's how long you're at school, maybe a bit longer. But it definitely didn't need to last 20 years because you're not at school for 20 years. So reliability is how long this thing should last. Okay? Target user is who is going to use this thing. So what human's going to interact with it and maybe what wildlife's going to interact with it. So who's the target user? And then S is safety. How do you keep the device safe for whoever's going to use it? What do you need to think about? Okay? So, but there's plenty of other things that you'd probably put on your mind map. You might talk about ergonomics. You might, well, this whole thing is about nature and the environment. So I imagine you're all going to think about sustainability and how we can keep the product safe for the environment. Okay? Down on the right hand side, that's going to be all the bits of research that we're going to do. So it's telling people what research we're going to do on the next few pages. Okay? And then you have a conclusion. So then you have a what you found out from doing this page and what you're going to do next. Okay? And you're going to do your research next. So that's what your page should look like. It's really hard to grade this page because it's just the very first page, but she's done a really good job. That's at least a grade 7 because she's got loads of information and she's explained what research she's going to do. Okay, so this is a bit of a template of what your page should look like. Okay, so what I want you to do is just the left hand side for now. I want you to pause the video in a second and I want you to write the theme at the top where I have. So I've written here, context, nature and the environment. Then I want you to write down the problem, whatever problem you found, and I literally want a title saying the problem. Now you don't have to draw this box around it and stuff like I've got on the video, but just write down the problem. Then I want you to analyse the problem, so that's your mind map. I want you to write down, sum up what the problem is inside the bubble, and then write down everything that you can think about. So pause the video and do that now for me. That should take you probably 20 minutes, 25 minutes if you've got loads of information on your analysis. Okay, so on the right hand side of the sheet, I want you to write 3 bits of research that you're going to do, okay? And then finally a conclusion. So the 3 bits of your research that you're going to do, I want you to do some client research. So that's a questionnaire or asking a client what they would like from your product. I'd like you to do a product analysis. That is looking at products that are currently on the market that could sort of solve your problem. Okay, so what already exists. Then the third one, it's going to be specific to whatever your problem is really. So I'm just going to say another bit of research, but for example, it might be location research. So you might have to do some research on where wildlife live, or where your product is going to live in the home. How big is the cupboard that it's going to sit in, and stuff like that. Okay, so it could be location research. It could be wildlife or nature research. So like I said, it might be finding out a little bit more information about hedgehogs, what their average size is and where they normally live and stuff like that. Could be some scientific research. So if you are doing about reducing the amount of O2 in the air, you might do some scientific research to find out how much CO2 is in our air and what the main contributors are and how we can reduce those. So you could do some scientific research. Okay, so they're the 3 bits of research. Everyone's definitely doing a client research. Everyone's definitely doing product analysis. And then your third bit will be something depending on your problem. Now, if you're not sure what to do as your third bit, just email me and I'll give you some ideas. But you don't have to do those bits of research right now. But on the other side of your sheet, all you need to write here is you need to write client research. And then you need to answer these questions. So you need to answer why this research might be useful. So you don't write these questions down on your coursework. Anything on red on my screen is never written down. It's just there to help you do that section. So you answer these questions. So you write client research and then you answer those questions. You write product analysis and then you answer those questions. You write your third bit of research and then you answer those questions. Okay? And then finally, you do a conclusion at the bottom. So what are the next steps? Now this is really easy on this page. Your next step is going to be your first bit of research, your client research. So you'd say, I've analysed the problem and the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do some client research. And that's it. Conclusion over. So it should end up looking a bit like that. Okay? And that whole page should have probably taken you an hour, maybe. Less than an hour. But keep it neat, keep it concise, laid out like that. Then take a photo of it and send it to me. And I'm sure you'll all have done really well. But if I can see something that's going to take you 5 minutes that is going to improve it, I'll just feedback and I'll just say, oh, you've forgotten the branch on the mind map of safety. And safety is really important for your project or whatever. So I'll give you some feedback. So email me, hrobinson@johnfernley.org. Okay, definitely keep in contact, keep emailing me. But crack on, get your first page done this week. As soon as it's done, put it in your folder, keep it safe.